just because I remember like literally freaking out like the first time I played with like Chris Bigler, even though it was like, whatever.
Who's Chris Bigler?
There you go. He was like a little bit larger human, but he was he Swedish or I feel like he had a
German, Swedish, something like that.
So like a thicker accent.
Do you think his last name played into like him just like taking that last bite, at dinner? He's like, well,
I'm a bit Bigler. Why not?
All right, really quick, guys. Phenom Poker is out now. It is live. And if you want to support Table 1, just go to joinphenompoker.com, and that will help us. Fill in your information, and you'll be on with us.
Tons of people on there, tons of action, especially until Art and I will run out of money, I think.
That's true. And we are doing some sort of free roll. Anyone who signs up through our link, we're going to eventually reveal the details on Twitter, but if you sign up through our link, we are going to go all in up to 10 times at $100 no limit until somebody wins the $100. We might stack you 10 times and you'll lose 1,000 in this promotion, but we are trying to give away 100. So if we accidentally stack you 10 times, thanks. Thanks for playing. All right, joinphenompoker.com. Now.
all right, well.
All right, we'll get to all the fun stuff in a bit. So normally what we do with our guests is we take them back to some kind of adolescence where they started discovering some kind of gambling or poker, whatever it is, games, and then finding out why they decided to do that instead of, I don't know, hypothetically being a lawyer or something like that. I don't know.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, so did you grow up like playing games?
So I did. I always loved games, and my parents had a weekly poker game where it would rotate at different people's houses. So one week my parents would host it, the following week someone else in the game, and so there were like 5 or 6, maybe 7 families that did this, and I took an interest at about 6 or 7 years old. I would sit, both my parents would play, so I'd sometimes sit behind my dad, although he's kind of an asshole, so I sat
Was he a
behind
good
my
poker
mom.
player?
He's mean, like, you don't need to see this, you don't need, I'm like, I want to see.
Wouldn't let me sweat.
Yeah, exactly. And
Were both your parents Egyptian?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
both parents are Egyptian.
Oh yeah, born in Cairo. right?
Born in Cairo. Came when I was 2 years old, so don't remember a lot. But
Well, you remember your dad not showing you your whole
but he wouldn't show me his whole
cards?
cards. And then I remember him lying to me about what he had one time, and I was like, fucking, I don't even know what's going on. Says he's got, because you had to have jacks or better to open, and he didn't have jacks, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And anyway, so I started sitting behind my mom, and that's basically how I learned. And then one week, there were really short players. I don't know what was going on, but they always wanted to play with at least 5 or 6. So one of the other adults was like, let Mark play. He could play. He knows what he's doing and stuff. And my parents were like, no. And then they had to give in because they were pressured to have more players. So we would literally play with nickels, dimes, quarters. That's it. No paper, no pennies, just nickels, dimes, quarters. And I played. And I remember I got to play maybe 2 or 3 times over like 2 months. And then one time the game was actually at our house, and they would say, okay, this person's dealing, we're gonna deal one more round, then we're done for the night. So it was literally the last hand of the night, and I can't remember what kind of draw I had, but I drew one, and lo and behold, I'm heads up with my dad.
No, I was hoping for
And,
your dad.
and I missed, and he bet out, and I raised. Yeah, no, it wasn't no limit. It was limit.
Oh, just like a flat.
One more bet.
So one more nickel, one more dime, one more quarter, whatever the fuck it was. And he, wants to look like a genius, so he shows like one pair and folds. And then I just put my hand in the muck, and he grabbed it. And I was like, oh, shit. Here we go.
Get the
And
spanking.
He's like, and he picks it up, looks at it, he's like, you bluffed me. And he's like, you shouldn't lie. You shouldn't cheat. And I'm like, what the? So that's why I'm the biggest bluffer the game's ever seen, probably.
It's the first one.
Because when I was 7, I got punished. No, I literally had to stop playing Go to and leave all the money I had won or had in front of me. Yeah, it was stupid. Like
Your dad is an asshole.
he was a very punitive guy. He, this hurts me more than it hurts you. But you're gonna learn an important lesson here that's gonna help you for the rest of your life.
The reason they have like check and raise is permitted in this casino on the wall
That's
because
right.
people get upset about it.
That's
Well,
right.
you said no bet and now you're making it more.
You guys allow check and raise here?
Just show your hand and tell me if I'm beat or not.
So dirty.
Wow, so you're 7 years old and learned your first lesson about not getting paid at a home game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I was banned for a while after that. I mean, I played after that, but I think at 10 or 11, I was just told I couldn't play anymore.
Only when mom's home.
So did you find any other avenues for gambling between 10 and 11 till you're of age?
Oh, hell yeah. I remember being in high school. I went to an all-boys Catholic high school in Pasadena, but it was about 2 or 3 miles away from Santa Anita Racetrack. So my friends were all degens too, so we would
We find a way to find each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We gravitate.
So we would always go to the track on weekends, I remember that, but we would sometimes go after school and shit, and yeah, that was my first taste of gambling. After that was horse racing at Santa Anita, and I didn't do it for a long time until I was a waiter at a restaurant in Pasadena, and one night but a couple guys said, let's go to Gardena. I'm like, what's in Gardena? And they said, casinos, like legal stuff. I was like, really? Okay. So had a few drinks, and I think I was 19 at the time. I looked older, so I got in. And I remember starting off playing some 7-card stud, and made like $200, and I don't think I could sleep. I was like, holy shit, I never want to work again.
Yeah, that was probably over a week of waiter tips back then.
Back then, I mean, we're talking late 80s.
So were you in college at this point? Like where you had the waiter job? Because I know you went to UCLA.
Yeah, I was in college. I was in college at the time. I was waiting tables and then I was bartending, but I was still in college. Yeah.
Okay, so was there well, I know at some point you did tip over to the dark side, but like you stuck with the lawyer thing, like you went to Loyola after that.
That's right.
But like, were you still kind of like just kind of playing on the side, like on the weekends, like once a month, like what was
Did you get
your
crazy
schedule?
and buy a bunch of poker books,
Yeah.
like if they existed? I mean, Doyle's book.
No, we actually had Doyle on a chalkboard back then. No, I don't think I played a ton. I think I played in Gardena a few times, and then I kind of just focused on my studies. Yeah, and I graduated. And then after I graduated from UCLA, I actually took a year off and was like a bartender, working for my dad a little bit. He had a bunch of real estate holdings that we were managing. And then I started playing again in law school. Actually, I played a ton in law school, which is weird because they tell you, like, your first few days in law school, they're like, if you're married, you have like a 50-50 chance of surviving the next 3 years. You're probably not going to see a movie for the next 3 years. And the people in your study group, you're going to be closer to than your family, basically, because you're going to spend hours and hours and hours in class. And then you're going to spend more hours with them figuring out
What they said in class.
Yeah, the real stuff in law. And so I just had, one, I loved law. It just came natural to me, so I didn't have to work that hard. And two, when I was done with class, I wanted to head over to Commerce. Commerce was like 20 minutes away, maybe less. So I would get on that 5, fly down there, play for a few hours, and then and my study group would basically be eating or doing some stuff, and then I would meet up with them later. And
What was your game of choice back then? Because like they probably didn't spread a whole lot of 2-card, be my guess. Was it like more stud or draw?
So we actually played Limit Hold'em.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly. And then Bobby Hoff, Carl McKelvey, Eric Seidel was in the game. Johnny Chan was in the game sometimes. But Bobby Hoff and Carl McKelvey and a couple of other guys, they were friendly with me. They were real nice to me, and of course they wanted me to play in their game. And so
course.
they played pot limit. I think it was either 25, 50, or 50 and 100 pot limit back then. And that was
How were you rolled for this?
Yeah, I know.
Holy
So-
shit, that's
so-
so much money.
You must have been a good waiter.
so. I was actually by this time when I was playing that game, I was probably at that point working as an attorney.
Okay.
I probably had more money.
Big boy money.
Yeah.
Grown up.
I'm pretty sure that's when I was playing in that game because I would get off work and go play with those guys. But that was the only, like, there was no limit.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play big bet poker, it was only pot limit, and it was a hard game. Cash actually played at the table still, bills. And I remember sitting with a bunch of bills because I was under-rolled, so I didn't want to put chips out there that I can get. So I only had like 4 or 5 bucks. So I had bills and stuff, and I remember Bobby Huff going, "How deep?" In the middle of my hand, "How deep are you there, Mark?" Whatever, 3,800, 3,900, whatever it was. And then a few hands later, I decided to fucking ask him the same question. I don't know why, but I didn't know why, but I just.
When he asked me, it hurt, so I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, so I felt like a little embarrassed, a little underrolled there. So I remember being a few hands later, and I go, "Bobby, how much are you playing?" And he goes, "I'm as deep as the Pacific, son." That was his answer. "I'm as deep as the Pacific, son." And I took it. I was like, okay. Back then, it's just a different world.
How many leagues is that? Am I supposed to actually? It's 38,000.
I thought that was funny. He was actually a super nice guy. Like, these guys weren't rude or anything. They just knew that they had me in a bad spot, and that could exacerbate it, you know?
Yeah. No running it twice back then.
Yeah, no, that's not running it twice. I went broke like every day.
That's all right when you get a
I
job.
played until I got broke. That's basically when I got out.
So I did see, I did do a little bit of research as I do, and I didn't know this before now, but you were on the OJ defense team, or the OJ prosecuting team, sorry?
Yeah, so
How do you not get that done?
And is that why you quit being a lawyer?
fuck you guys. Fuck this interview. Fuck all this shit. So that was June of '94 when he, in case you guys don't know this, killed 2 people in cold blood. There's no doubt.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, if he did it. It was a book, I think. Capitalized if.
Yeah, if I happen
In
to commit
parentheses.
murders, then this is how I would have done it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had actually just started law school at Loyola, and they had this program. It was like an internship of sorts, where you took Professor Hobbs' trial advocacy class, and he had forged some relationship with the Los Angeles DA's office, where they would take a bunch of us students under a special program that was sanctioned by the California Supreme Court, which basically allowed you to function as an attorney so long as you had a supervising attorney that had 10 years experience, and they have to be present. Like, they can't go to the bathroom, or they can't be outside while you're doing it. But you could try the case, you could, you know.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, so.
What internship? I mean, it's kind of a hypothetical internship, but that's
Yeah.
nuts.
It was a crazy one. I got assigned to the hardcore gang unit downtown LA, because you could get assigned to an office in Pasadena or Simi Valley or anywhere in LA County. There's courthouses all over the place. I happened to get assigned to the criminal courts building in downtown on Temple Street, and I got assigned to the hardcore gang unit, and at that time they only did murders because there were so many gang-related crimes and murders that they had to have their own unit. So when you get assigned to hardcore gang, you only try murder cases. So I, of course, not trying these cases, but I'm assisting in them. And then the O.J. Simpson case pops up, and they're like, we need to pull people to do research and write stuff. So I wrote part of the, it's called a 1538.5 motion. and that was a motion filed by OJ's attorneys to keep out the glove evidence.
It didn't fit.
And so the people, so the people of the state of California, we opposed it, and I wrote some of that motion and got to be in court when it was argued and stuff like that.
So I as a kid, like I remember watching, I would say over a dozen hours of the actual coverage because it was literally on all the time, anytime you wanted to watch it.
All day, every day.
It was literally, I think, at least in my youth or whatever, the only thing I remember being kind of like must-see TV because there was cable, but it wasn't like broadband cable or whatever. It was like, so have you gone back? Could you like see yourself? Have you like seen like snippets of yourself? Like,
Yeah.
young Mark, just like.
Yeah. So not too long ago, there was some Netflix documentary or something like that, and I was watching it with my girlfriend, and yeah, I popped in there. I was a little scene in there where I was in the.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I would have done. I would have like paused it, rewound, and was like, no, you're gonna see me, upper right corner, upper right, that's me.
I have one of those.
Slow it down.
I haven't had a lot of like poker final table stuff, but one of my claims to fame is I was on the rail of Jason Mercier's first big EPT win, and they once in a while they pan me and my wife are on vacation in Italy, and like I met Jason on that trip. I'm like, oh look, there I am, all young looking. I imagine it's like that.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone sees that. It was like, oh, who's that good looking guy? He's off right corner.
Are they old enough to be in there?
Did she lose a bet? My gosh, she's so handsome.
Yeah. Anyway,
Something
move
like
on from
that.
that.
I'm sure. It's kind of the same thing with like being the OJ trial.
You know, something else was funny too. We just watched some other show on Netflix. I think it was about Jerry Springer or something about the state of America, and they showed a scene from the bike, the WPT at the bike, where I was in a chair and had veins popping out of my neck, and she's like, "Holy shit, that's you!" And I'm like, "Oh my God, how'd they get that?" And it was me basically.
There were no camera phones back then. You caught this.
Yeah. What the fuck?
The Jerry Springer effect's taken all over, even in poker. Look at this hothead.
I gotta try to remember what that was because we were both
not
like,
the winner.
It was something about the state of like talk shows in America and how low they've gone, and I made a nice cameo on that.
I think I'd be prouder of that one for some reason. I don't know why.
Just a quick break here, guys. Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this.
No,
like this? Or this?
Or do you want to play with players like this?
If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game, and fill out the form.